Hi Style Bees, welcome to another tutorial with Style by Bibidi. If you're new to this channel, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you are a return subscriber, welcome. It's nice to have you back. In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to make this half circle skirt right here in this video. So guys, let's not waste any much time. Let's proceed to the main tutorial. Here are all the tools and materials I'll be using in this tutorial. Actually, I won't need them all. Now to my beginners, let's talk. I would like to encourage you to watch this video and watch this other one. These two videos will help you understand this tutorial better. Now let's do a little calculation. Please note that this measurement is in inches. This is for a half circle flare skirt. My waist measurement is 33 and my waist to knee is 27. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using 3 inches as my sewing allowance. And the formula here is 6.25 times 2. If you calculate that, that will be 33 plus 3 is 36 divided by 6.25 times 2. It will give us 1158, and I just rounded that up. The first thing I will do here is to get the width and the length of my paper. The width of my paper is 31 to 8 and the length of my paper is 37.18. And now that I know the length of my paper, I will proceed with folding my paper into 2 and making sure I stretch it out nicely and also secure it perfectly, as I will be transferring this paper, the measurement from this paper, back to my fabric. 1158 is my radius. This is the measurement I will use to get my waist measurement. Here I will mark my radius measurement 1158 from the very edge of my paper inward. So I will mark this inward all the way 1158. That's why I encourage you to watch this video to have a better understanding. So now I will mark this inward 1158 all the way to the very edge of the paper. And here I'll proceed with connecting all my dots on a curved line all the way to the edge. I'll also go ahead and add half an inch sewing allowance. I'll also connect this marked point in a curvy manner. Here my waist to knee measurement is 27. On the paper, I'm unable to measure 27 because the length is way shorter than the measurement. Here I will just write 27 inches to be added on the fabric, and then I will also cut whatever is left here on the paper is what I will cut out, and the rest of my measurements will be added on the fabric. What I have left here on my paper is 7.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark 7.5 inches all the way on my paper, round it, and then I will add, remember, the rest of the measurement on my fabric. And now that everything is connected, I will go ahead and cut my pattern in a curvy manner. Now I'm going to cut my pattern into two, considering I'll be folding my fabric into two, and I just need to place one side of my pattern on my fabric. Now that this is done, so I'll just proceed with cutting. Here I'll just make sure my fabric is placed good side to good side, facing each other, and then I will make sure I lay this flat because I don't want to have any overlapping after. So now I'll place my pattern strategically just to make sure it's well placed and the measurement is accurate while I place it on the fabric. And then I'll secure my pattern to the fabric using my pins. And here I'm just gonna measure 27.5 inches. I decided to add half an inch so I can hem my skirt on half an inch. So I'm gonna mark that 27.5 inches from the waistline downwards all the way round, and then I'll cut my fabric. I'm just making sure to connect all the marked points together, and then I'll proceed with cutting my fabric. I'll cut the top first and then I'll cut the bottom after. Here my fabric is ready. I just finished cutting my fabric and then I would soon hit the sewing machine. But before then, I want to cut the band, the waistband for my half circle flare skirt. I will make sure I cut this on 3 inches. Connect all my dots in a curvy manner, and then I'll proceed with cutting. Now that the pattern for my band is ready, I'll proceed and place this on my fabric, and then I'll secure it with pins. I want to be sure I have 2 of this after cutting. On fold, I want to have 2 because I'm going to face it. I'm going to be doing facing for the band area. If you're watching this video and you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe right now. I've got lots of tutorials coming your way and I don't want you to miss out on any of our next videos that are coming out. Please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. And here I'm just marking the wrong side of the fabric, so when I'm stitching, I know which side is the good side and which side is the wrong side. Now to sew my skirt, I will fold it into two good side facing good side. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to, because of this tutorial, I'm going to sew on 1.5 inch. But first, I want to measure from my waistline downwards 10 inches where my zipper will be, and I'll go inwards 1.5 inch where I'll be sewing from where my zipper will stop all the way down. Here I'm just making sure I have the accurate measurement from my waistline down, which is 10 inches where the zipper will be, and also it's actually going to be about 12 inches because I'm going to connect my band. After sewing my band to the skirt, I noticed there's a little bit of excess there. I'll just go ahead and trim that off. And now this is what it looks like. This is the pattern, and at the bottom area is where I connected to the skirt, and then the top is the band. So now I'm going to turn this inside out so I could show you what it looks like. Now you can see that's where my zipper is going to be stitched on. That's where I'm going to sew my zipper, and then I was going to place it a little bit upward so that way it will sit properly, and I'll cut off the excess. And here I'll just make sure I maintain the same measurements, which is 1.5 inch sewing allowance, and I'll do that for both sides. That is where our 3 inches that we added earlier, that's how we're going to take it out by sewing on the zipper 1.5 inch on both sides. So here I'm just securing, making sure the measurement is accurate, 1.5 inch all through. Here I secured my zipper one stitch just to make sure it's secured to the fabric. However, I still need to stitch it one more time using my zipper presser foot to like close that properly, and I'll just stitch it using my zipper foot or my presser foot, and that way it will stitch closely and you won't see the gap in between the skirt, and the zipper will be sitting nicely. Here is what it looks like. See, I closed the gap in between the zipper and the fabric. It looks better. And now I'm going to attach the other half of my waistband to the other side just to secure it and cover it nicely, and then give it that nice finishing. Here is what I'm gonna connect, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Hit that subscribe button and join our creative family. I've got lots of more amazing designs coming your way. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my next sewing project. Here you can see I'm just trying to place it nicely, and I'll turn this over. Please don't forget to iron, because that's the best way to have your fabric turn out good. And already I went ahead to hem on 1/2 inch. This is what it looks like after ironing. This is the center back. You can see it looks pretty. everything aligning, and then the center front. Inside we will turn this good side, and so you can also see this is beautiful. This is gorgeous, guys. Now I'm going to measure the total length I have. I'm expecting to have 29.5 inches, which is perfect. And that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. Bye bye.